Good morning, lovelies. I'm Chrissy, and this is Chrissy Cooking at Home. Welcome to my channel. This morning, I am making pineapple cookies. This is my great-grandmother's recipe. She passed it down to me before she passed away. She passed away about 17 years ago. I mean, I was in my 20s when she passed away. I think I was about 22. So, we are going to whip up a single batch. I would do a double typically because we really like these cookies, but I only have 1 can of pineapple. So here's the ingredients you need to make these lovely cake-like cookies. 1 cup of shortening. You need 1 cup brown sugar, 1 cup white sugar, and then you need 1 teaspoon vanilla, 2 eggs, which I already brought up to room temp. You want everything the same temperature as best as possible. I don't always follow that. Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Anyways, on to the ingredients. Then after that, you're going to need 4 cups of flour. I'm going to put this next to there. A 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple in juice. Do not drain. You need the juice. Then you're going to need some salt, some baking soda, some baking powder. That's it. And it's a lot of, you just need 1 measuring cup. You need a 1 cup measuring cup. You don't need any other sizes. You do need multiple sizes of measuring spoons. We'll get into that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to cream together our Crisco or shortening and sugars. So I'm going to put the sugars in first. You want to make sure your brown sugar is packed in there. So I just used the heel of my hand, the heel of my palm, and push it in, and then just kind of use my thumb to level it out. It should come out as 1 big solid brick. That's how you know you've packed it right. If you're new to baking, this is what you want it to look like. See? 1 solid brick in the shape of my measuring cup. Next, we're going to do the Crisco. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Get some sugar off my hands here. Now you can use your hands. I used to use my hands a lot growing up when I would bake. I would just reach in, scoop it out with my fingers, and push it in, because you gotta pack it in. And you want to try and do a little bit at a time to try to pack out the air bubbles so you get a nice accurate measurement. You pack it in, and then you level it off, okay? And then I just use my rubber scraper here to get it back out. You can see it's a nice big glob. Get as much out as possible. Now, a little trick I learned. We're going to use the sink for everything. I'm not dirtying a bunch of dishes because I'm the dishwasher. So, what we're going to do is measure out our white sugar, which is 1 cup. So 1 cup shortening, aka Crisco. 1 cup brown sugar packed. I use light brown sugar. Okay. 1 cup shortening, 1 cup brown sugar, 1 cup white sugar. Pour that in. I don't know what I'm doing with that. Done with that. Now, you see in there, some lighting. You see in there the little granulars stuck to the Crisco? This is going to help us get the rest of our Crisco out of here. So, back to the rubber scraper. And scrape. Let's see. No more granulars. Easy peasy. I'm just going to use my finger here and scrape off the sugars and the shortening from my rubber scraper, which we need to keep handy. So don't toss it in the dishwasher if you hand wash like I do. Okay, so now if you've watched any of my other baking videos, you know I have a KitchenAid Pro Series 600. It's a beast. So we're going to cream this together. First slow, and then we're going to whip it until it's nice and creamy. You know what might help? If I plugged it in. It's usually the first thing I do, but I got distracted earlier. I got this all set up earlier. Slow at first. You don't want sugar flying everywhere. A little faster. This is about medium. You have a hand mixer, so I'll hold low. Now we're at medium. I'm just going to let this go for a minute. No, don't get rid of your measuring cup. You don't need that. Now, I kind of have a shortcut method. This is not what I was taught in a bakery when I worked in a bakery. This is something I figured out when I got sick and I couldn't do as much when I needed things to be faster. Alright, it is well combined. I don't know if you heard, but my oven is now at the temperature. It beeps. So, it's all creamed together. Do that. Now, before I add anything else, I'm going to do my leavening agents and my salt and whip that in before I add anything else. So, what we need is 2 teaspoons baking powder. 1, make sure they're level. 2. Then, what you need, 1 teaspoon level baking soda. Then, switch over, half a teaspoon of salt. You need salt. It helps bring out the flavors. Don't try to skip it. Such a minuscule amount for the amount of cookies we're going to get that you don't need to worry about it for people on low sodium diets for heart conditions. So, I'm going to whip that in. That fast. Seriously, it just did not speed that. See, it's all whipped in. You can see nothing in the bowl. Let's see if I can. Aha, light. All whipped in. This is just Crisco on the edges. So, now, 2 eggs. It doesn't matter medium or large. If you do extra large, I would say 1, but I did 2 medium eggs. Usually I do 2 large. I've switched between the 2 and found no difference in the cookie whatsoever. We're going to beat that in quick, not overdo it. Just until it's combined. So let's show you. Okay, nice and creamy. Now we're gonna do flour and pineapple. That's our last 2 ingredients, right? Now we're gonna dump it all in. First, no, I like that last. First, we're gonna do our flour. So scoop, level. We need 4. You know, it would help as if I lowered the bowl. There. So that's 1. That's 2. If you have a leveler, use it. If you have a butter knife, whatever. 3. I am a messy baker. I'm a messy cook. I forgot to put on my apron. Oopsie doodle. But I don't think I'm going anywhere today. Okay, so that was 4. So put our flour aside. Just realized vanilla was supposed to go in with the eggs. No biggie. We need 2 teaspoons vanilla. Now, I know everybody's all about the pure, and that's fine. I'm not a fan of the flavor of the pure. It doesn't sit well on my palate. Imitation is the way I go. You do you. Either one works great. Okay, so vanilla's in, flour's in. 1 20-ounce can, crushed pineapple in, 100% pineapple juice. Dump it in. Pull up. Slow. You don't want flour poofing everywhere. Slow. We're done with that. We're done with that. This needs rinsed for recycling. Since I keep everything pretty handy, I can put away as I go. Mostly. The flours and sugars go across the kitchen, so we're going to move down. I'm going to grab my baking sheet. Lined with parchment. Okay? Now, that's a half sheet baking sheet. Not everybody has those. I have used 13 by 9s. I have used quarter sheets. Whatever you got works. I just suggest lining it with parchment because it makes life easier. And since I am the dishwasher, I'm just scraping the bowl down a little bit. There, I just moved my beater out of the way. I already dropped the bowl down. Got to keep track of the time here. All right. Let me turn you so you know what I'm talking about when I say I lift the bowl. Okay, see this? I grab a hold of this. Watch the bowl. It goes up and locks into place. And then, on this side, and we're done. Let me show you what our cookie dough looks like. It's look better. A thick cake batter. Okay, I'm gonna scrape that off. Now, we're gonna bake this at 400. I preheated the oven to 400, and then they are going to, and I have it on convection. So it's probably gonna bake in about 10 to 12, but on conventional oven, a normal, regular old oven that I used to have, took 15 minutes or so. You want them lightly golden brown around the edges, and maybe a little bit of brown on top. You don't wanna overcook these because they're a cake cookie. They're not meant to be crispy or chewy. They're a cake-like cookie. And I will be doing a video on the other cake-like cookie that my great-grandmother was known for another day after these are eaten. So, scrape as much off as I can. Okay, in the sink. Just gonna give us a good scrape around. On the bottom, make sure it's all combined, and it is beautiful. Now, I'm going to move the mixer. Bear with me. I didn't put her where she goes, I just moved her to the other counter. Move this flour. Okay, half sheet baking sheet, and I'm doing a half sheet baking sheet because it does fit in my oven. I don't believe this would have fit in my old oven, but I got a little slightly bigger one. I'm doing about 1.5 inches apart. Time to fast forward because this is boring. Am I right? looks like I will be doing 2 pans on this half sheet. We have 30 cookies on here. Let me see if I can get a better view of how fast them. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've made this one. If I remember correct, these spread a little. They don't like melt. So into the 400-degree oven. I'm gonna start my timer at 10 and check them then. I will bring you back when they're all done on the cooling racks and ready to test. Okay, brought you back because I wanted to show you what it looked like on the cookie sheet. Now I crammed 30 on this half sheet baking sheet. 3x4 on a regular baking sheet would be fine, so 12. But I crammed 30 on this thing. And they spread and they're touching, but that's easy. Okay. But when you touch one, should not feel tacky, should feel like a nice little like cupcake almost. So I'm gonna immediately get these off the baking sheet and get the next round in the oven. Okay, this is the last pan. I got 58 on my half sheet. So, right? No. Yeah, 28. 28 on my half sheet for a total of 58 because I got 30 on the first round. So here's the second round. They spread a little bit more than the other ones, but they're still nice and soft. Now, these do not have a strong pineapple flavor. It is a milder pineapple flavor. So don't make these expecting these to be like pineapple. It's not gonna happen. They have a mild pineapple flavor, but they are a nice little treat. When they first come out of the oven, some of the edges are a little crispy, like a little crispy. But when they sit overnight, after they've completely cooled, and you put them in Tupperware with wax paper between layers, or they'll stick together, they're gonna become super soft, really soft, like cupcakes, like soft. I already started with the first round, putting in, and you can see I put wax paper between my layers. Wax paper. I even put wax paper on the very bottom before I put my first layer on. So I have more wax paper cut up that fits my Tupperware container. All of these cookies will fit in here. This is my biggest, it's not Tupperware brand, but you know what I mean. It's not, I don't know what brand it is. It's old. It was my mom's. So there you go. Pineapple cookies. Great grandmother's recipe. See, if she was alive today, she'd be in 130s-ish. So I really don't know how old this recipe is. I don't know where this recipe came from. I don't know if this is her creation, if this is from a cookbook. I don't know. I just know that my great-grandmother made this all the time. It's one of my favorites, and she gave me the recipe before she passed. But like I said, don't expect a strong pineapple flavor. It is mild, but it's delicious, especially the next day after his set. Great fresh, don't get me wrong. Next day's better. So give it a try maybe. That sounds like something you might like. Till next time.